Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. We're excited that you've joined us as we have a conversation. We found that a good conversation allows us to share what's on our mind, whether current events, what's grinding our gears, or our pet peeves.
It also allows us to share our top 3, a list of our favorite things on any given subject, most of which are highly opinionated. In closing, we share a good word. Solid friendships are encouraging. Even if we joke and give each other a hard time, our ultimate responsibility is to uplift each other.
Our goal is that you'll feel like you're part of the conversation, like you were in the studio with us, and that you feel encouraged after tuning in to our podcast. It's time to join the conversation. All right. Welcome to another episode of Hardheaded. I'm your host, Matt Amos. Along with me, as always, Chet Sears and Troy Trussell. We trust that you all had a very Merry Christmas and are excited about the upcoming new year, which is just a couple days away. So on this episode of Hardheaded, we're going to hear what's on Chet's mind, the top 3 family activities to do before it's too late. And Troy is going to bring us the good word. So let's kick it off with Chet.
All right. What is one of the negative things around the holiday season that sometimes is talked about?
Depression.
Too much eggnog.
It's depression. That's the answer I was looking for.
Boom.
Okay, good, because I didn't have an answer.
I'm
You
right.
can't have too much eggnog.
You know how that makes me feel?
Possible. Hands above the head. Yeah, I came across some alarming statistics, and I want to get your guys'
Input.
take on this. And this is more along the lines of depression, anxiety, if you will, and sometimes aggression. All right, so if we think about those three things being treated with drugs this day and age. In fact, there was a recent study that was done that, I mean, what do you think the percentages are of those that are medicated? And I'm going somewhere with this. So if you're listening right now and you're medicated, that's okay. Like, I'm not going to bash this at all. I'm just want to shed some light on a few things. But what do you think the percentages are?
Of specifically...
Yeah, treatment for aggression, depression, and anxiety from a prescription.
So how many people?
Yeah, let's just say 400 people. How many out of that?
So let's make it easy math because I'm stupid. So
500
out of 100 people.
100 people.
30?
30?
54%.
54%. What if I told you it was 51? So Troy's right. You were right on one.
I went
Troy's
over.
on one, so you guys are tied right
If
now.
this is the Price is Right, though.
It's not the Price is Right. It's
I went
whoever's
over.
closest.
Oh, okay.
Whoever's closest.
All right,
It's
good.
okay to go
Good.
over.
I'm in the run. Spin that big wheel at the end.
I mean, don't you think that's a big number?
It's huge.
That's a lot of people. That means technically one of us is medicated.
Yeah, but there's one thing that I didn't let you in on.
Oh, let me in on it.
I didn't say people. I'm actually using statistics for dogs. 51% of pets in this survey that was done, 51% of dog owners say they medicate their dogs for anxiety, depression, or aggression.
I don't understand.
Can you believe it? Dogs. Medicated dog, 51% of dogs. Like, what's up with this?
So this took a completely different direction than I thought.
That's one of the reasons I did it, because you're like, oh, I got this covered. No, you don't. Maybe you do.
Oh,
Maybe you do. But before we get too far, I want to give credit to the article that this was.
is it Pets Today?
Well, no, it's in the New York Times. Melinda Wenner Moyer was the author of this. And I actually got tipped off to this article from another podcast I listened to called The Briefing by Albert Mohler. But she's known. She writes Science Daily, all this other kind of stuff. She kind of digs into some science and medical stuff. But she also wrote a book called and I'm going to edit it for content for us, but how to raise kids who aren't buttholes. But she doesn't use buttholes in the title of her book. She did that years ago, but now she's writing about this. And they did this this study that's going on. There's a couple universities that are really digging into this, and they dug in and found that they surveyed 409 dog owners, and 51% of them chemically treat their dogs for anxiety or aggression. In the human numbers, by the way, it's 12%. So,
oh well, that's good.
We are way heavier with anxiety on dogs than humans, and I don't see it. Like I can't even comprehend this.
So there was actually a study, and I can't quote the actual study to you right now, but the basis of it is that if you were prescribed, let's say, an antibiotic, and you had to take it for 30 days, and your dog was prescribed an antibiotic for 30 days, you would make sure that your dog finished.
Oh yeah, I heard this.
It's Jordan Peterson on the 12 Rules for Life. It's in his book.
Is it?
He cited the study. Yeah.
Yeah. So that may have been where I heard it, but yeah. And you're less likely to
finish your antibiotics.
So that makes sense from a pet perspective, because everybody tends to put human emotion into pets, right?
But how does because I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I've been around dogs.
I don't either.
My whole life.
I don't either. But people, and the only reason is because I know people like this, that they put their feelings of anxiety, and they may have feelings of anxiety, and they look at that dog and they think that dog's anxious because of some of the way that it's acting. And so instead of taking care of their anxiety, which they're putting on the dog, if they would just fix their anxiety, that dog's anxiety goes away, because that dog feeds off of you, but it doesn't actually have.
But isn't the whole reason you have a dog is to be less anxious about things, like a pet in general?
Yeah, statistics show if you own a dog, you will live 10 years longer than people who don't own a dog.
I have not seen those statistics.
I've heard it.
From who?
Oh, that other podcast I used to produce, Bright Vibe Podcast.
Oh, okay.
One of the people he had on there.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
is it increase every time you get an additional dog?
I doubt it. That's a great question, though. I was just producing, though, so I couldn't ask questions. But
and I'd like to know how many people over 100 have dogs. Is it dogs or pets?
I'm sure a pet dog.
We'll have to,
like a pet fish.
Oh, no. I think he specifically said
see,
dog.
Go listen to that podcast.
I think it would have to be something that, because I think they would equate that to, you get up more often because you got to let the dog out. And if you're young enough and fit enough to take that dog on a walk, you're walking. So you're out there taking care, you're walking the dog, trying to get the dog exercise, but you're getting exercise at the same time. Because I can tell you from being a dog owner myself to two dogs, one very highly trained, and now apparently a cat. Animals add
Your dog turned into a cat?
No, we got a cat while I was gone. So
what?
We now have a cat at the house.
Inside the house?
Yes.
What?
Yes. It was
you
billed,
better get a hold of your household.
It was billed to me as
this is mutiny.
This is going to be an outdoor cat, and now it's turned into
it's cold outside.
No, it wasn't. It's cold outside. It was. It had trees at its former home, and we don't have any trees, and it tended to wander further away than any of the other cats, and so it really needs to maybe just stay in the garage. And, come in the house and in the garage. And I'm like, this all happened while I was gone.
Yeah.
So it does stay in my daughter's room, and my daughter has to take care of it. And it pleases me a little bit to know that my daughter is annoyed, because when they wanted a cat initially, I was like, that's fine, but outside.
Yeah.
And why? Why can't? Why? Because cats stink.
Yeah.
And throw up everywhere.
And poop in your house.
Well, in the litter box.
There's still pooping in your house.
And it stinks.
Take the same thing that you just said. I come over there and I poop in a pile of sand inside your house. you're not going to say, well, at least it's in a pile of sand. You're going to think, what are you doing?
I'm going to say, for you, it would be the toilet. I'm glad that you would come over and poop in my house in a toilet. That's the cat's toilet.
We had a cat for a month.
Yeah.
Luckily, it scratched a few people. And
but my daughter has found out that, yes, cats do stink, and that now she's got to put the deodorizers in. And because I'll walk down there and I'm like, hey, no, this is
A deodorizer in the cat?
in the cat.
In the litter box.
Oh. I was like, what's this
in the
technology?
cat litter.
Isn't that already deodorized in the bag?
Yeah, but you can add more to it.
I don't know all this stuff.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had found it out. But anyway,
Yeah.
so that's adding a level of stress to my daughter. My two dogs add levels of stress to my wife and I, because even if it's a highly trained dog, there's still added stress, with taking that dog with you or, whatever it is, there's a level of stress there.
Or trying to get somebody to watch it when you're going out of town.
That's an easy, we just go to a kennel.
Are you drugging your dogs?
I do not drug my dogs.
Yeah. I'm wondering if some of this is like people going to their vet and trying to get drugs for themselves. I don't know.
Who knows?
But
man? What kind of antidepressants do you get for a dog?
And Prozac, you could do. There's one that starts with a T. There's all kinds of treatments that are out there.
Is that trazodone?
Yes,
That's
something dome.
That's a muscle relaxer, I think.
And then was like, well, it just seems very far fetched to me. So like Google, I couldn't get past the ads that show up for Prozac for kitty cat. All just.
Oh, now they're going to be all showing you all kind of ads if you search for it.
Well, I'm just saying, when you Google something, you get the paid search results first.
Yeah.
And there's a big market for this, like drugging your pets because they're too anxious. And I may get, fireworks around Independence Day. I know that freaks a lot of dogs out, but just be with the dog. If it's freaking the dog out, you're a dog owner.
But then you're freaking out because you think your dog's freaking out or your dog is freaking out.
No, you just be a good.
But here's what I'm saying though, is the people that are going out and getting these medications for their dogs, they're worried about their dog freaking out. And that worry, that dog picks up and senses that worry. And so it's like, oh, I should be worried. And then it replicates that behavior.
Yeah, it's messed up.
So being a good pet owner is being a good, solid
human being.
Right. It's not, yeah.
I did notice that my dog was a little gun shy.
So you shot him?
I was out shooting the other day,
From the
but it's, he just goes and sits by the truck. He's like, I'm not going to be down here with you when you're doing that. I'll just, get 50 yards away and sit here and wait till you're done. I'm like, oh, I noticed that you're not a big fan of that. That's okay. Go sit by the truck. It's fine with me, But, I don't need to go call and get some drugs for my dog who's anxious about guns. I don't know. I was shocked.
So I get here would be my question is if all of a sudden you don't have any money or you can't refill the prescription and you take this dog off of that medication, does your dog go crazy and does it bite somebody?
Maybe. You're supposed to wean off that stuff.
Right. But if you just run out, just like most people do, and just stop taking it, and then they go crazy, does a dog do the same thing? That'd be an interesting study to correlate that.
I don't know. I just found it fascinating that one of the primary reasons for a pet is to have a companion that helps you and helps the pet too. I mean, you guys have a good bond, a good relationship. And then next thing you know, that dog's so anxious, one of the theories was, this was taken in 2021, that maybe the fact that everybody was working from their home and their pets were used to not being around people 100% of the time of the day, like absence makes the heart grow fonder, Like they're really excited when you come home, but if you never leave, they just start getting anxious and hate your guts. Like that could have been one of the reasons the
I like that. I'm going with that one.
survey was so high.
Sounds like my wife.
I'm not commenting.
Not going there. Not going there.
This is done. But anyway, yeah, I thought two things when we were talking about ahead of time what I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about antidepressants, and then I wanted to throw you a curveball. It's antidepressants and pets. And then that's shocking. I still can't get over the fact. And what vets are out there just like, here, Prozac.
All of them.
They get a kickback? They get a kickback for how many they sell?
Because
or
it's
whatever?
money.
Yeah.
And now, granted, that is a good point about are people getting these prescriptions for the dogs so that they're not traced to them.
But they have to be in doses that don't matter.
Per human?
Yeah. It doesn't have something to do. I've never taken any.
So I will say this.
I don't know. You got 100 pounds.
But I can tell you this.
I had a German Shepherd that her hips went out, and Bullet is unfortunately right now in the same boat. But we went and we're trying to find, okay, how can we relieve her pain, because she can still get up and she can walk around, but she hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And so they prescribed Tramadol. And I was like, you mean like the stuff that they gave me? They're like, yeah. And so I looked at the bottle, and it was in the same, like I think
Milligrams?
it was 25 milligrams, and mine were 50. So I was like, okay, so basically if I take 2 of these, I got the same dose that I was on, and they're, well, yeah, but it's not FDA approved for use in humans. It's for dogs or for animals.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's the same thing.
It comes out of the same lab.
Right? Well, yeah, but it's not approved for use in humans. I'm like,
But it's the same thing.
but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's Tramadol. That's a
drug.
That's a drug. That's not like aspirin. It whatever. Just it's kind of weird. So there could be something to that.
Yeah. But then if that's what you're doing, you're not admitting it on a survey.
That you're getting it for your dog?
That you medicate your dog. Like if I'm going to my vet and getting drugs from my vet so I could take them, and somebody's like, hey, will you fill out this survey about drugs and dogs, calling me up, I ain't telling them I'm getting any drugs. Like,
Right.
No, there are no drugs in this house. I don't see the vet for drugs. I wouldn't tell anybody.
I mean, people did the same thing for ivermectin.
Well, you could just go buy that off the shelf. I want a prescription.
But it's a horse medication.
It's still,
right?
yeah, for equine purposes.
Yeah.
It was
Because
one of the usages of ivermectin.
Yes, but to go buy it off the shelf. It's
Now we're getting flagged on this video.
It's for use in.
We get flagged every week.
That's for use in animals, not humans. To get the ivermectin for humans, you would have to go to the doctor, but you could go to the vet or like Tractor Supply or something like that and get ivermectin for animals.
I'm not condoning the use of ivermectin in the from Tractor Supply or anything other than your horses or your tractors or your supplies. That one got.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Matt, why don't you take us to the break here?
Dosing dogs.
Prozac and your pets.
Hey, we'll be back with our family activities to do before it's too late. Right after this short commercial break. Family activity. Let's all take drugs with the dogs.
let's smoke some Tremectin or whatever. I just made up a new drug.
TM.
Are you driving traffic to your website? Do you have an engaging homepage? Better yet, does your homepage have a video? We recently created a video for a client about his business and the services they provide. Since he placed the video on the homepage of their website, he has had a number of clients specifically say they decided to use his services because of that video. At Trussell Media, we help businesses create engaging videos to host on their websites email to clients, and use in their social media marketing. Contact us if you're interested in creating a video for your homepage today. TrussellMedia.com. Fill out the form at TrussellMedia.com/contact. Let us help you tell your story through video.
And we're back.
And we're back.
That was a good buzz.
I'm so high.
I don't know that.
Mr. Tally?
Yeah. Tally.
All right, Troy. Why don't you kick us off with
Is
your
that South Park deal?
Yeah, Tally. I'm so high.
I don't know that one. You sound like
Pretty sure it's the same guy that did
Mr. Hankey.
Mr. Hankey.
I know
voice.
that one.
Yeah.
I mean, they do all the voices.
So anyway, Troy,
Sorry.
family activities to do before it's too late.
Clarification. The too late isn't before you die. It's before all your kids are out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we had a little discussion about that earlier.
We may have.
Like, what did you mean by too late? I'm like, well, before you lose all your kids to moving out of the house. Like, not too late because you're dead.
Yeah, or they're in a bus accident or something.
Yeah,
You just
not
said
that.
before you lose all your kids. Like
To moving out of the house. Yeah.
before your kids grow up.
Well, that
Yeah.
changes things because I kind of went with top 3 family activities.
Like, before you die?
No, like that we do that we love, that we continue to do.
Okay.
Because,
All right. So these are the things that you should do. Yeah, that works.
yeah.
That works.
Number 3, go camping.
Yes.
Get some s'mores. Man, they love s'mores. Camping's great because you get to teach them a lot of things, right? How to collect wood, how to build a fire, how to carve things, whittle, fishing, all the things.
I have a question about your s'mores.
Okay.
What are your ingredients?
My wife and I, for the kids, we make traditional s'mores, graham cracker, marshmallow, and Hershey's chocolate. My wife and I use Reese's peanut butter cups in the middle.
Okay.
What are yours?
Did you know about this?
The Reese's?
No, that you could just change it to whatever you want it to be?
No.
You didn't?
No.
I didn't know till about 10 years ago. Like, I prefer, instead of graham crackers, the Keebler Elf fudge stripe cookies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually seen that. It gets messier with those, for
Dude,
sure.
you're eating a s'more. It's messy. Just deal with it.
True.
It's not, oh, I got a little extra chocolate on my marshmallow covered hands.
Baby wipes are a great thing to bring along when you're camping too.
But
Imagine that. And people gave me a hard time.
whatever candy you want. Like Heath bars. The coolest thing, and we've done this a couple times at our house for when the kids have friends over, you just get like a cookie sheet or cake pan, I think you call it, and then you all assorted Hershey's chocolates, Reese's peanut butters. You got the different kind of cookies that you could use as the graham crackers, and I mean go crazy. Just make up something. And then they have the colored and flavored marshmallows now too, so you can really.
Well, they have like the big s'more size marshmallows too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan either because I think it's too much mallow.
You don't get enough toast. Yeah, toast.
Right.
You got to have the right.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway,
You
okay.
like a caramel color on your marshmallow? Or you like it burnt?
Burnt.
No, toasted.
I like mine
Toasted.
toasted.
Mine's going
Little-
to catch fire.
Caramel color.
Then
No,
it's good to go.
no.
Yeah, I don't want any.
That's
burnt.
amateur. That's rookie.
That's how I like
rookie.
it.
Well,
Call it whatever you
you
want.
need to grow up.
I'm also more traditional. I'm not putting Keebler. I like graham cracker, Hershey, and marshmallow.
Okay.
All right, number 2. Go to the lake.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. Fish, recreational sports, whatever you want to do. Hang out on the beach. We do a lot of that. Number 1, the top thing that my kids love to do right now at this time in their lives, all the way from 12 to 3 years old, is go to Great Wolf Lodge. It's a fun getaway. It's fairly cheap, especially if you can find some deals. And they usually run deals, man, pretty much every other month they're running some kind of special. that you can find, but they love it. You can go in January. You can go in, the heat of the summer and still do the same thing. Water slides inside and everything.
Now, I've heard, I don't know, that everybody gets sick after they go.
That was just the one time.
No, not from you guys. I've just heard it. Hey, we're gonna go Great Wolf Lodge. We're all gonna get sick.
Oh, well, we did.
Yeah.
We've been since then.
But it's not 100% of the time.
No, not 100%
Yeah.
of the time. You do not. But the one in September 21, that's when we came home with COVID. So.
Oh, well, that wouldn't be like a ear, nose, or throat infection from being underwater.
No, honestly, I can't remember if any time that we've come back from there we've been sick.
Cool.
Well,
good. I'm glad I asked you because I hadn't talked to anybody. I've just heard, Great Wolf Lodge. Everybody's been in the pool.
Well, but I don't think it has anything to do with the pool. I just think it has to do with the amount of people that are around the pool. And
well, I mean,
if you're going in the wintertime, it's flu season or whatever.
It's
moist. It has
moist.
nothing to do with swimming.
It's a moist environment.
You just wanted to say moist, didn't you?
How many of our viewers threw up?
Yeah.
half of them.
Yeah, I did.
51% of them.
I was shopping for some
The 51% medicating their dogs.
Moist towelettes?
browns, the brownies for my wife. This is years ago. And if you get into that baking aisle, the amount of times you see the word moist on a box,
There's a lot.
It's overwhelming. But you know where you know what box the word moist will not be on is any gluten-free mix. They do not use moist in the advertising for gluten-free because I think
It would be a lie.
gluten-free is moist-free. Like gluten is another way of saying
Dry.
moist. Yeah.
It's a way of saying dry.
Well, not gluten, because then it would be dry-free.
Gluten means moist, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gluten makes things moist.
Do the math.
I would guess. Yeah, I get it. I see where you're going.
Yeah. It's so much funnier now that you kind of did that.
Perfect. I'm glad you're happy. Kick it off. What's your top three?
Aim to please.
Idiot.
Matt does.
Number 3, camping.
All right.
In this specific, I've never taken my kids sleeping in a camper before, but the tent camping has been a lot of fun.
We've done both, yeah.
Aside from the one time that my wife went and we almost died in a torrential softball-sized hailstorm, welcome to Kansas. Other than that time, and she vowed never to go back, I've had some fun with kids, taking them out and spending some nights under the stars and smelling like campfire, all that kind of stuff. Number 2, start making your own traditions. And we talked about Christmas traditions, and I was at our last episode. One of the things that I see with just traditions in general is we depend on the patriarchs of our family, like the older generations of our family, that they dictate everything, and that's not bad. And don't think I'm saying that's really bad, but if everybody just aligns with that and goes until that ends, and it will end, then you're middle-aged, your kids are half-grown, and you don't have anything anymore. So think about that transition and start to do some of those things. And maybe it's not around the major holidays. Maybe you pick something else. I tell you, and Stone and I, so my son, when he was way too young to hunt, or I say hunt, way too young to carry a gun, I started September 1st is a pretty easy day to pick, is the opening day of dove season. And I said, every September 1st, we're going dove hunting. And then my wife was like, well, sometimes that's a school day. I'm like, well, we're taking him out of school that day, and I'm taking him dove hunting. Like that's just the thing. And so there's a little bit of debate about that initially, but and we did that all the way up through probably a sophomore, junior year, high school. And then it happened to be on, like, I got a test that day or something, couple of those things. But then, and he's in college now, and there's football games and all that kind of stuff. And then, but after he gets out of college, he's like, hey, Labor Day, let's go hunting. That kind of take a vacation day from your job. I'll take a vacation day from my job. We're getting right back at it. Start those kind of traditions where it's easier to start when they're younger to keep them going when they get older. So I would do that. I think that's a good. Don't wait till it's too late, and then next thing you know, there's just chaos, and no new traditions take over after the old ones go away. Number one, and this may be hard for you depending on where you are in your career, but this is the one. It's too late when your kids are out of the house, and there's a prime time. 3 is young, if your kid's 3 years old, but when I think my youngest hit around 7 or 8, we started investing in summer vacations and saying that we're going to spend some time together, going and doing some really neat things. And that some of them turned into road trips. And as I got further along in my career, got more vacation days, I started taking 2 weeks. Like, I'm taking 2 weeks off of work, and we're going to spend 2 weeks together doing something fun, because you're never going to get those memories back. You're just, a vacation with a sophomore in high school, 8th grader, and a 6th grader. You only get to do that once, depending on your kids' ages. And then you only have a couple more summers until that oldest one's out. So make time, take as much time as you can from off of work, and spend time together as a family, making memories, because at some point you're all going to be sitting around at a holiday, Thanksgiving get together or whatever, and you're going to be talking about all those memories that you had when you were driving, or went to Carlsbad Caverns, or when you went to slide down the sand dunes at White Sands, or
you hiked up Devil's Kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, that's stuff. Those stories are going to be told to their kids, so your grandkids, your great grandkids are going to hear about some of these adventures. And if you just are like, oh, I'm really busy this summer, or you know what, we didn't go on any summer vacations because we did travel ball every summer for all our life, those aren't great stories, right? So find some time, take some time off, and go do some really neat things as a family. That's my number one.
I like that, man. Good stuff. I like the starting traditions not around holidays. It's good. I took notes. That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
9 episodes.
108.
108. Starting to take notes. All right.
Finally get some good content on this thing.
We're really
you guys aren't the idiots I thought you were when
really
we signed up for this.
Starting to find a groove.
Yeah.
All right.
It took that long to get through all the crap you've got.
What you got, Matt?
Number 3. Take an interest in your kid, what your kids like to do. And I'm guilty of that on some things, just some of the stuff that they enjoy, because I've got 2 girls, and so there's not a lot of carryover on, hey man, let's go do this stuff with dad,
Let's go play Fortnite.
So I've taken my oldest to show, like when Shin Yun came to town, and that was earlier this year, and then looking to do some more of that stuff with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of going that route, because it's not something that I particularly am really into, whether that's the...
You're saying that now. I remember after you went to that show, it's all you talked about
for
days.
It was really good. It was a really good show. I actually really...
Start buying the outfits and wearing them around. I remember.
I wasn't doing that. I couldn't fit into them.
I'll tell you, so 2 birds, and I know this is after Christmas, and you guys missed out on this great advice. My daughters are into theater, and we did, for Christmas gifts for several years, got season tickets to Music Theater Wichita, because it's a gift from something we could put under the tree, and it's a guaranteed, 5 or 6 dates, daddy-daughter date nights, where we're going to go out, and eat some meal and hang out at the theater, and it's a good show.
Yeah. And I actually do enjoy not necessarily music theater, but I do enjoy theater.
Yeah.
So that was an easy one for me. I just wish it wasn't so expensive to get good seats.
It's pretty pricey.
They are pricey.
Yeah.
Or the orchestra. I do like going to watch, the Wichita Symphony Orchestra as well.
Mm-hmm.
So take an interest in that, and that's kind of stuff that your kids like. Number 2, take your kids hunting. And my girls are at the age now that it's kind of like, oh, I really don't want to go do that, whatever. And that's fine. And, maybe they'll eventually come back, or, the grandkids will come back. But I think it's extremely important for kids to learn, especially in our house, where that food comes from, and be able to work on processing that themselves, which actually they enjoy doing more than they enjoy the killing portion of the animal. They enjoy skinning it and processing it. What do you?
I just took a picture. Just shut it.
You couldn't even see his face with the mic.
Well, that's his fault. The mic's in the way.
But take your kids hunting. Kind of the same concept as camping, because there's still a lot of memories made there. And I took my daughter out, hunted Kentucky a number of years ago, and she hunted with a buddy of mine who's no longer here. And so one of these days when I'm no longer here, I think that memory of that hunt specifically, just because some of the things that transpired, I know that she'll always remember.
That I saw something the other day on TV. It's been a month now, month and a half. They reminded me of one of the earlier trips that I went hunting with my dad. And it was my feet. Of course, taking a kid hunting, one of the dilemmas that you run into is the right gear. And am I going to buy all this stuff just for one time out?
Sandwich bags?
Well, no. Before I get to my memory, just ask people to borrow stuff. Like, I would be more than happy to lend out something I had, a coat or whatever else. And then sometimes it's just you're going to have them wear their school clothes or whatever else and their winter coat. And then, I'll put an extra camo jacket over top of all that, just to, keep it from being seen or whatever. But find a way to get them out there. But I remember one time I was hunting, I was so cold. My feet were, I'm complaining. I'm a kid. I was 6 or 7 years old. And I was wearing rubber boots and cotton socks, right? That was the,
right.
Other than tennis shoes, that's all I had. And so sat down, and my dad, pulled the boots off and started rubbing my feet, to get them warmer and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, it's really neat that he's going to this much effort, because my dad was not, that wasn't normal. But he wanted to hunt, and he wanted me to be there. So he's going to do whatever he can to get there. The thing that I saw that reminded me of that, did you guys see this when College Game Day? Man, I know you didn't see this because you don't watch College Game Day or football for that matter, college football. Kirk Herbstreit, the College Game Day crew was in Montana. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see it. I know who you're talking about.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So that dude, I got to find the video real quick while we're talking about it. It was freezing cold. They were in Montana. It's in mid-November. And number one, he was dressing like Indiana Jones. He had a fedora and some kind of leather coat. It was weird. But then he apparently cameras were rolling. He wasn't like on camera, but they got it recorded. I'll turn it down here. He took his shoes off at the booth,
and they're
rubbing his feet because his feet are cold. Can you believe that?
Is that a girl?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's messed up, man.
Man, weak sauce.
Look at that. Just the optics of that. Like, dude.
That's so wrong.
No, it's good gracious. If you got enough, look, you got that coat on, you can afford some shoes to keep your feet warm. I bet he had cotton socks on. I bet that was a problem.
Cotton socks, and he perspired.
Cotton kills.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry I went off on that. Hunting, foot rubbing.
Yeah. And then, so number one would kind of be along the lines, we go to Breckenridge almost every year in the summer, and been doing that for years. Matter of fact, that was kind of my wife and I. That's where we actually, I guess, quote, started dating, was in Breckenridge. After senior year of high school, before she went to college, got invited up to the cabin and been going back almost every year ever since. And so that's always the kind of the one time a year that we get together for a family vacation. We don't really go anywhere else, and that's kind of where we put all of our time into. And it's unfortunate that we weren't able to go this year because I was in Alaska this year. But next year, I think it's going to be right back.
Dude, go in the wintertime.
No.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
That might be for you. But for a guy who cannot walk on snow and ice very well, it's no fun for me.
Yeah, just get in your track chair or something. Get on your Ranger. Let's get out there and do some donuts.
No, it gets crazy up there where it's too deep to even get that Ranger to
I'll go with you.
Some of that stuff.
I'll go with you and help you.
I need tracks on that Ranger.
Well, so we've had a summer tradition for the past 5 or 6 years, going to my uncle's house in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
He has since moved to Florida.
The road trip.
So
we have road trip tips in one of our previous episodes.
Not
man.
real sure.
Pea bottles.
Dig that out.
7 people.
How many?
5 youngsters.
Hold on. Let me see how far
in
of a
our
drive that would be.
expedition. They're going to make it
Whereabouts in Florida?
to Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
So I think we're going to have to find a new summer tradition.
that'd be about 21, 22 hours.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay.
We're going to have to find a new summer tradition. And
22 hours and 45 minutes.
That's pretty close.
unless we fly, but that's
expensive.
That's like $3,000 for 7 people.
Yeah.
So I don't
Anyway,
know.
that was my number one.
I like it.
Take those family vacations.
Yeah.
Even if it's not real extravagant, keep it within your budget. Just go do even a simple weekend trip.
I like it. All right. Well, I got the good word.
Hit it.
Hit it. All right. I'm still, I'm going to read out of this book, The Songs of Jesus by Timothy Keller and Kathy Keller. It's a year of daily devotions from the Psalms. Today is December 29th. So I'm going to read that. The Psalm is Psalm 148, 7 through 14. Praise the Lord from the earth, you great sea creatures in all ocean depths, lightning and hail, snow and clouds, stormy winds that do his bidding. You mountains and all hills, fruit trees and all cedars, wild animals and all cattle, small creatures and flying birds, kings of the earth and all nations, you princes and all rulers on earth, young men and women, old men and children. Let them praise the name of the Lord, for his name alone is exalted. His splendor is above the earth and the heavens, and he has raised up for his people a horn, the praise of all his saints of Israel, the people close to his heart. Praise the Lord. So in these verses, he's talking about everything. And he talks about things that go against each other, small creatures, large creatures. See, there's young men and women, old men and children. And he talks about how some of are kind of opposites and they don't really come together a lot. And then the horn is Jesus, a strong deliverer, as it is, stated in the New Testament. So through these, he's praising God for unity. And so it kind of gives us a picture of heaven, I believe, of what true unity is going to be, because in heaven it's going to unite the races, all the classes, the genders, and all the tribes are going to unite in praise for King Jesus. So unity is the good word.
All right.
Unity.
Were you singing?
That was Charlie Murphy's Hollywood Stories.
I don't remember that one.
Rick James.
I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember that skit like that.
Well, he had the ring that said Unity and punched Charlie Murphy in the head. And
We don't need to talk about that
right
now. We just finished the good word with some passages of scripture
on Unity. It came together.
If you say so.
It did.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.